coming through, and we are going to be discussing the youth a bit further today. From the very negative things that are spoken about them, there's a lot of negative things as well in our discussion. But can you tell us about Activate Network of Change Drivers before we get to what you do for them?
Activate Network of Change Drivers is a bunch of youth who are positive about the future of the country, who have high aspirations about what they can achieve collectively. So they come together with a common vision and set purpose towards driving that better future by themselves instead of awaiting any service or assistance from anybody. They do the change facing the community from the necessary.
So you're saying that you bring services to people. So do you have stakeholders that do work with you to present opportunities to the youth?
Because we need to consider all pillars of the economic society of South Africa. We have firstly all relevant stakeholders in the country helping us to deliver the change we need in society.
Now, the reason we're talking is because in your line of duty, there is an issue in Limpopo. Can we talk about the issue in Limpopo shortly? Before we get to how relevant it is to the issues in the whole of South Africa.
Well, the issues in Limpopo are not so dissimilar from those of South Africa. The only challenge that we deem that is pertinent is the issue of attitude. I could say the Limpopo youth as rather argument about experiencing immediate change, which brings them material satisfaction in terms of finance, and it does not happen every day that you get to experience such sustainable financial growth. And on the latter, we're saying instead of you renting that financial satisfaction that will only be temporal, how about you focus on the big picture that will change your vision, so to say, just towards something that is rather sustainable in the long future and that you could hold on to.
Is that not perhaps the youth of today? I'm not sure if that's what people want today. We want money and we want it now, and we do not care about the skills that are being brought to us. How does the youth identify themselves today? You perhaps work with a lot of youth and you might know a bit more about this.
Come again on that?
The identity of the youth, how do they identify themselves in this day and age? Is it about money now and whatever skill you're bringing later? Perhaps since you're working with the youth, do you mind perhaps trying to give us a narrative of the way in which the youth identifies themselves in South Africa?
Well, I'm almost tempted to say the youth within the South African context are rather identifying themselves with the social fabric that is constituted within the negative element of society that has been influenced by the Western ideologies to a larger extent. However, if you could perhaps try to focus on the fewest, treating the problems in South African society, there are still youth who are rather too aspirant, too ambitious to experience the long-term goal of seeing themselves as pioneers of change towards a better future instead of just being victims of change within the narrative. So you're only saying, how about you as a good doer within your society come up with something that is good, that is very, very, very positive, and influence the majority amongst yourselves, and at some point we'll reach a point where we all aspire to be like somebody else. We envy the ways of successful people. So we end up influencing us to a better direction that will eventually materialize in a better society. And instead of always having to listen to other people telling stories about us as Africans or South Africans per se, we're saying, why don't we write our own stories, the good stories, publish and tell the world what we are capable of by ourselves, instead of waiting for somebody coming to tell us the story from a third person in America. So that is part of the big picture of saying, hey, we are activators within the activities, and we want to drive this country forward.
Let's come back to the offices, the services that you offer as Activate. What are you offering to the youth? Can you tell us about your training program?
It's divided in 3 paradigms. The first is to get the young people in the country, get them into a residential training, that is, they'll be residing at a hotel or wherever they choose. We train them for the whole year free of charge. Then after, they come back home, equipped to drive that positive change within the society. Then comes in the Going Beyond program that supports them individually or collectively, whichever initiative they will be doing this in their own communities. Then after some supporting them, we'll be providing them with material and material resources that is intellectual and something that is tangible. We'll give them either money for whatever project that they need, or we will connect them with other resources that will be very helpful to towards their initiatives. And that is part of avoiding them to rather be surviving in isolation by themselves. So we are aware that people in the country, they're just surviving, they're in isolation. They have these dreaming ideas, but they do not know where to start. So you're saying, because we are aware of these challenges, there will be some people in the village in Koyalita who are suffering the different challenges that are being faced by somebody in Gauteng or Limpopo or in the Northwest. Why don't you connect all these people together and check how best they can solve their own communal challenges?
It's interesting how you say that you first equip the youth with leadership skills, training them for free, and then at the end you provide them with finances to finance whatever dream that they do have. How long have you been working with the youth as Activate, and perhaps do you have any success stories of this program?
How long have I been working with them?
Yes, or rather, how long has Activate been around? Do you have success stories of these individuals?
Well, Activate has been there since 2012, and success stories are plenty. I mean, in terms of success stories, we're currently asking just now in terms of who has succeeded within the network, and we're talking about people such as myself, people such as Zenana Mabaso, persons such as Kanisa Blongolwana. We are all making headline stories internationally. And these are positive stories that the world needs to know about. From the South African perspective, by South Africans and Jews, because we are aware that people envy our race, we've been reaching out to saying it's possible. If I can make it from a rural area in Limpopo, then yes, anybody from Western Cape or anywhere in the country can make it. Why not do it? Just a matter of waiting back and saying, guys, this is how I made it, and yes, provided that you actually willing to work the part that I did, come along. It's free of charge, by the way.
And speaking about coming along, you are calling on the youth now to come and join hands and to make and shape South Africa's future. by joining Activate? How does one join Activate in order to
there are two ways of joining the program. Either by the online portal that is www.activateleadership.co.za or by the mobile application USB number that is star 120 star 16,000 hash. That is star 120 star 16,000 hash. Then they should just follow the prompt and they'll be activated.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Marishane, for coming through to the program.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. That was Mr. Marishane, a connector from Activate. They're having trouble with recruiting people in Limpopo who are keen on being skilled in whatever desired field they want to go to and be sponsored. And just shortly before the program, we had a brief chat about, how we see after a while claims about jobs being taken away from South Africans by foreign nationals, whereas you have programs which come to our community centers offering not employment but training, so one is capable of being an employee, and yet these programs are not taken seriously. We were talking about Activate there. Activate Network of Change Drivers is a coalition of individuals who want to change South Africa and shape it for the good. And if you want to join the army, you can definitely go to their website and join Activate SA. It's www.activateleadership.co.za and see what field or in what field would you want to be skilled in. It's free of charge, and then at the end we're going to finance your dream, and perhaps you will succeed.